When it comes to comic books, most people think of guys in spandex punching other guys in spandex, superheroes and supervillains, big flowing capes. But that's not all, because comic books is just another medium of storytelling, and there's a ton of different types of stories that are told through the comic book format. And today I wanted to talk about 10 of my favorite graphic novels, 10 must-read graphic novels that have nothing to do with superheroes. No capes, no superheroes, no supervillains, because I thought that would be fun, because I know there's a lot of people that maybe would like to get into comics but don't give a crap about superheroes at all or getting into that world. So I thought this would be a good video to make. And also, side note, I know a lot of people get very anal about the definition of graphic novel. I'm just going to say anything that is in a hardcover or paperback format, that's a graphic novel for me. I don't care about these. Well, it's a collected edition. That's like volume 2 of this run. I don't care. You go to any bookstore that has comics, you'll go and you'll see the graphic novel section is just filled with all that. So that's what I'm going off. I'm going off like the bookstore definition of a graphic novel. So sorry if you get upset about that. But without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking off my list is Barbaric Murderable Offenses from Michael Moresi and Nathan Gooden. This is a fantasy book. It's a book that takes place in a fantasy world. The tone is sort of like if you saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a few years ago. It's got a similar tone to that, but very gory, very bloody. The art is great in it. It's really fun. It's very colorful. But it's a really funny book, and the premise is great. The premise is you have this barbarian that was used to just killing and pillaging and sex and all the fun stuff that barbarians love to do, and then he got cursed by these witches to where he can only do good things now, and he can't turn down any good acts either, like anyone that needs help. Like if some kid's like, hey, my parents just got killed by those bandits over there, he has to go take care of those bandits and help this kid now. He can't turn it down. He's got this magical axe that he was cursed with that can talk, but normal people can't hear it. Only him and like other magical people can hear the axe. The axe gets drunk off blood, so while he's hacking and slashing through people, the axe is just going nuts. It's like a cartoon character. It's hiccuping. It's so much fun. In the beginning, he runs into this one witch that he saves because they're trying to burn her, but she's a good witch, and she's telling him about this big threat that he then has to go try to help her with and take care of. He gets dragged along. He doesn't want to, but he's cursed. He has to. It's so much fun. It's great. And it has nothing to do with superheroes, but it's a really, really good comic book. By the way, this list is in no particular order either. It's just 10 graphic novels that I think are amazing that have nothing to do with superheroes that you should read. Not counting down, not counting up, nothing like that. So, anyways, next up is Reckless from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is just the first volume of it. They did a bunch of these. These are actual true blue graphic novels, though. They're only released in this hardcover format. They're not released in single issues. It's not collected editions. They were pumping these out like twice a year. They were doing like every 6 months or so. They've stopped now because they're moved on to other stuff, but they did like 5 of these. This is the first one, I think the best one. And also, I could make like half this list graphic novels from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, to be honest. They might show up later on the list, by the way. But Reckless is fantastic. You've got this guy named Ethan Reckless, and he's got a sidekick. It takes place in the 80s. He's got a sidekick who's this like 80s punk girl that helps him, and he's sort of kind of like the A-team in a way, because he has a 1-800 number set up. If you've got a problem, like if someone stole your car or if someone broke in your house and did something, if you've got some type of random ass issue, you call the 1-800 number, and Ethan Reckless decides if he wants to help you or not. And he works out of a movie theater, this old movie theater that he bought that he watches old movies in, and was a former FBI agent, but then something went wrong that you'll learn in this comic, and someone from his past calls the 1-800 number and asks him for help. And it's very interesting. This woman that he was in love with before, that he was involved with, and also he has some interesting past with her brother as well, and it's sort of a detective story a little bit, because he's kind of like a private eye that helps people, but he also gets very violent. It's really good. He's kind of like if you remember Brad Pitt's character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he looks a lot like that, reminds me of that, except he reminds me a lot of that character, actually. He's very similar. He's also a surfer dude, loves surfer. He's a great character. I love Ethan Reckless, and this book is amazing, and it'll have you jump through all types of emotional hoops, seeing what Ethan goes through and how it ends. And the entire series is worth reading. The entire series is amazing, but I think the first one is great. Also, we're supposed to be getting like a Reckless movie eventually, because Sebastian Stan posted something about like him reading it, and then I believe it got announced also. So don't know when that's going to be, but the comic is amazing. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, they don't miss. And next we got Witches with a Y, because Y makes it even scarier. Why? I don't know, just because it's spelled differently, so it's scarier. Jock and Scott Snyder are the ones behind this. Jock does such a great job at drawing scary things. He always does a good job, but this is a horror comic, so he really gets to flex his horror muscles in this. It opens up with a very sort of stereotypical horror movie cliche, which is like family with a interesting past moves to a new town, scary things start happening, but it's done so well. Scott Snyder does a great job here. You have this family with this you have a father, mother, daughter, and the mother's in a wheelchair because of an accident that happened recently, or not too long ago. The daughter is an outcast they don't want to get bullied at school. The reason they moved was because their last town, there was a incident happened where a girl that was bullying their daughter died, and everyone thinks her daughter killed her, but the daughter claims she didn't, claims that some creature came out and killed her. And everyone's like, hey, you hit your head pretty hard, though. The bully hit you in the head pretty hard prior to that, so we don't know what happened. But then these creatures start showing up, and of course their house is in the middle of the woods. So there's a lot of scary things that happen, and it's so good. And the onomatopoeia in this is great as well. I love the onomatopoeia in this comic. It's done so well. It's a really good comic. If there's a dark and stormy night, open your window, listen to that rain, turn the lights off. I guess you gotta have some light on so you can read, though, and read Witches. It's a scary good time. Next up, we got a big one, and it's Seven to Eternity from Rick Remender and Jerome Apina. This is, as you can see, I have the big-ass deluxe edition that Image put out. It's huge, it's oversized, it's gorgeous. Jerome Apina's pencils are beautiful. The art is amazing. The colors pop, and it really is a very pretty comic book. And I'd highly recommend getting the deluxe edition if you can. It's all 17 issues. It's one big story, and the art is magnificent. And Rick Remender, I'm a big fan of him, and I really like what he did with this world. I know some people are mixed on this comic. Some people don't care for the writing as much, but I think the writing is great, and I really loved the characters in this and really loved the world. It's a very interesting concept. You have these people in this. It's a futuristic fantasy world, so it's not like ye olden Lord of the Rings style. It's more like in the future, like there's guns and stuff, but it's very fantasy, and it's not on Earth. It's in a different world. And you have this guy named the Mud King that has these powers. Not everyone. There's certain people that have these powers, gifts they call them. They have these Mosaic gifts, and everyone's different. You're born differently, and his gift, the Mud King's, is that he can give you an offer, and if you hear his offer and accept it, then he's now in your head and he can see everything you see. So it's said in this world that at least one person, every single household, has accepted his offer, and his offer is different for each person. It's whatever you need at that time. It could be as simple as like, I really want a cheeseburger right now, and he's like, I got you, and he gets you a cheeseburger. Now he's in your head. Like, or it could be as complicated as like, I'm dying from cancer, help me, and then he can like take you these healing springs or something and help get you healed, and then he's in your head. And every single household, again, has at least one person that's accepted his offer, so he's in their head, so he can see everyone in the entire world except for one household, and that's the household of our protagonist, the Osidis clan. And because of that, they have been outcast. They've been outcast from the world. There's still a war going on fighting against the Mud King because there's people that are not happy with him. And it's really interesting. The Osidis clan is very interesting, that whole family, because the head of it, Zeb, is the guy that essentially doomed his family to being outcast, but it's because of his strong morals, saying that it's not right to hear an offer. He is the only person that has never, ever heard an offer, or the only family that's never heard an offer. He's kept his family away. He told his son to never hear an offer. And Adam's the main character, has to go in to talk to the Mud King for one reason or another that I won't spoil, and a lot of things happen, and so I don't want to spoil anything, so that's why I'm being very vague, but stuff happens to where then we get to a journey book. It becomes a road trip sort of book where we're trying to go from point A to point B, and it's very interesting. And I'm not doing too good of selling it because I want to be as vague as possible, because it's best if you experience it while reading it instead of me spoiling any bit of it for you. But it's really interesting, and especially once you finish, because then there's things that the character says that you'll look back on and be like, oh, I read them from this perspective the first time, but now that I know how it ends and what happens, I'm thinking of it in a completely different way. At least that's the experience I got with it, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I had a great time with Seven to Eternity, and I would highly recommend you checking it out. And again, if you can get the oversized edition, that would be my recommendation, because the art is, oh my goodness, it'll blow you away. It's so good. Moving on, we got Nottingham from David Hazan and Shane Connery-Volk. If you're like me, then you grew up with Robin Hood, and this takes Robin Hood and flips it on its head. In this, the Sheriff of Nottingham is the good guy, and Robin Hood is a terrorist. He's a serial killer and a terrorist. He's causing all these terrible things to happen. The sheriff of Nottingham is actually the decent guy, and the dynamics just completely flipped. It's very interesting. It's really well written. The art is heavily stylized, and I like the style of it. It's pretty cool, and I really enjoyed this. I'm a huge Robin Hood fan, and I generally like the traditional Robin Hood. But I like the way this is done. It's cool how it flips on its head, and it's a cool idea instead of just, because a lot of times we get a, what if this guy was bad? And it's just dumb and not well done. Some like injustice type stuff. But here, it's done well, and I really like it. It's also not overplayed because I can't think of any other time where it's like, what if Robin Hood was bad, other than like Shrek? But this is actually takes a serious look at it, and it's really well done. Next up, we got Geiger. As you can see, I'm holding up a single issue because I don't have the hardcover or trade paperback for it, but I believe they make a deluxe edition like you saw I hold up for Seven to Eternity. They make an edition like that for Geiger, and that's why I'd recommend picking up, especially because Gary Frank is the artist on this. It's written by Jeff Johns. Gary Frank's one of the best artists working in the industry today. He's my personal favorite, and seeing his art in that oversized style would be awesome, that oversized format. But Geiger is great. If you like Fallout New Vegas, and I think you like Geiger because it takes place in a similar world, the premise for this is you got this guy named Tariq Geiger, who he has his family, and he's got cancer, so he's going through some stuff, and then the unknown war happens. This unknown war, because no one knows who started it, but a bunch of nukes went off. He had been planning for this because there had been a lot of talk about this, and he planned, so he puts his family in a bunker. Things happen to where he can't get in the bunker with them, so the nuke explodes. He, because of his cancer and the treatments and everything that he was going through, he ends up just getting changed by the nuke going off. So he gets powers and he can survive it. His family is in the bunker. It then jumps ahead 20 years later, and he is still protecting that bunker because he had set it to where they could survive down there for decades. And so he is protecting his family from looters and all these other people. And again, he's got superpowers now, and he's a myth. He's a legend now. People are like, have you heard of the glowing man? I heard he's 15 feet tall and he can melt your face. So he's protecting his family. At least he thinks his family's still alive in there. He doesn't even know because he hasn't been in there, but he knows he them up with enough stuff to survive for a while. But he's protecting them from bandits and looters and any other bad people that would come around. But a lot of things happen, and he has to go and take care of and fight other people. But it's like, will we get a reveal of if his family's in the vault or not? That's kind of the big thing in the book. And there's a lot of different factions that are going after him because they know that he has resources. So you have the Las Vegas. You have this area in the Las Vegas that has all these different factions. Like you have a medieval faction. You have like a safari faction. You have these different factions like Fallout New Vegas. And it's really cool. And they're all like crazy people. And you have a lot of mutants, a lot of very mutated people. You got like the Oregon people that just are cannibals and go around without a suit. So they're affected. And it's really good. It's very well written. It's Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. They're a fantastic creative team. And it's my favorite book from Ghost Machine. Ghost Machine's the new imprint from Jeff Johns at Image, and they do a bunch of different books, but Geiger was my favorite, and this first series was my favorite because they've done 3 different Geigers now. They did this first series, and they did a prequel, and now they're doing an ongoing. But this first limited one was my favorite, and that's what I'd recommend. Next up is another Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips joint, and that is Kill or Be Killed. As you can see, it's another big oversized deluxe edition. It's not quite as big as the Seven to Eternity one, but this is a deluxe edition. I actually got this off like eBay from a library. It's a library copy, and it's a little beat up, but it was the best I could find because it was hard to find it, especially for a decent price because it was so expensive when I bought it years back. I believe they did some reprints though, so it's probably easier to find now. I don't know about that edition exactly, but they've done like whole collected editions. Anyways, it's really, really good. It's probably my favorite work from them. It's 20 issues. It's one continuous story about this guy who lives in New York. He's actually got we have the same name. It's spelled the same exactly too. This guy named Dylan who lives in New York. He's going through a lot. He's kind of a shithead. He's not the most likable character, but he's an interesting character. And he had tried to kill himself at one point in the past, and because of that, he got expelled from the college he was going to, and his life went into the dumpster. And so now he's back at college at like 28 years old, and he's trying to navigate through life. His best friend, she is now dating his roommate, so he's not really that great of friends with her anymore. But then she cheats on his roommate with him, so there's a very complicated relationship with that going on. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to kill myself again. I'm going to do it actually successfully this time. So instead of last time he took some pills to do it, this time he jumps off a roof. and he jumps off a 6-story building. He ends up hitting some clotheslines and stuff and getting caught into where he's fine, so he doesn't actually die. And also, as soon as he jumps, he's like, oh no, I wish I didn't do this. I want to live. I want to live. So he survives, and he's like, wow, that was crazy. I can't believe I lived. I'm going to have a new lease on life. And then that night, when he's trying to go to bed, he sees a demon that says, hey, you got to pay me for that life you threw away. You got to do this once a month. We'll call it rent. You have to kill someone. You can kill bad people. Kill me. Give me some bad souls. Kill some bad guys. And then the demon leaves. And then for the entire rest of like the first part of the story, he's like, that was probably just like I hit my head real hard. It was a concussion. That's probably not real. And then when it's like a few days out from the end of the month, from the 30 days being over, he starts getting violently sick and feeling like he's going to die. And then the demon shows up again. It's like, you've got 2 days, buddy. Kill someone. And then he's like, okay, I will. I commit. I'm going to kill someone. Then he instantly feels better. It's like, ooh, so he's got to kill someone every month. And he's not like some badass dude. He's kind of just like this loser 28-year-old college student that's broke, that's going through a lot, and now he's got to kill at least one person every month. And it's really interesting to see the journey that the character goes on. It's not exactly a feel-good comic, but it's very well written, and it looks great because, of course, it's Sean Phillips, and it's probably my favorite from them. They've done a lot of amazing stuff, but I think Kill or Be Killed is probably my favorite. Next up, we got The Last God. Specifically, it's called Book 1 of the Fellspire Chronicles, but they haven't done any sequels. They did like one prequel issue, and that was it. I only have the single issues for this. I have every single issue, but I don't have the collected edition. They did 12 issues of it, and it's from Philip K. Johnson and Riccardo Federici. Riccardo Federici has such a cool style for this world. This is a fantasy world, but more in the style of like Lord of the Rings and The Witcher and old-timey medieval type fantasy world, and it's really cool. Philip K. Johnson is one of my favorite writers right now. This was the first thing I believe I ever read of his. Again, it's 12 issues, and the premise for this is you have this tall tale of this group of people, this fellowship that went and they killed the last god in their world that was causing these problems with this like plague of flowers that was killing all types of people. It was killing humans. It was killing elves. It was ruining the world until this fellowship went, and specifically their leader, Tyr, killed the last god. And so then he brought peace, and now we're like 20, 30 years later or something like that. I believe it's been 30 years, and something's happening. Seems like it might be a lie that they didn't actually kill that god. Things are going down, and now it seems they're going to have to redo that journey to its place called like the Black Stair, I believe it's what it's called, which reaches like beyond creation into like a different world, and that's where the last god is. So they have to go and redo the steps that we thought that this fellowship had originally done, and then along the way you get like an A and B plot where you get what the people are currently doing, and then you get what they did all those years ago and what actually happened, and you learned what happened, and it's really good. Again, if you're into the fantasy like The Witcher, Lord of the Rings, like I was saying, if you're into that type of stuff, I think you'll really like this. It's really well written. There's a lot of lore here. There's a lot of cool stuff. I want to get the collected edition. I have all the issues, but I think there's some extra goodies in the collected edition that's even more on the lore and stuff. And again, Riccardo Federici, oh my goodness, he's one of the best in the game. It looks so magnificent. Like at some of these pages, every page is so amazing to look at, just a feast for your eyeballs. Next up is a comic that I've mentioned multiple times throughout the years, which is Cobra the Last Laugh from Mike Costa, Christos Gage, and Antonio Fusa. It's a G.I. Joe comic, but you don't need to know anything about G.I. Joe to enjoy it. G.I. Joes aren't superheroes or supervillains, so that's why I put it on here. It's a spy espionage comic about a guy going undercover, about my boy Chuckles is his name. He has to go undercover. He has to do a lot of heinous things. He has to try to work his way through Cobra because this is in the IDW series. This isn't in A Real American Hero. This was in the separate IDW series where things were more new, so Cobra and G.I. Joe hadn't been around for decades at this point. Cobra was more new. They're trying to figure out, the U.S. government's trying to figure out what's Cobra all about. We need to get a man on the inside. So they get Chuckles, and Chuckles sees all kinds of things. He has to try to work his way up. He has to do all types of horrible things. It is a great, just again, if you know nothing about G.I. Joe, that's perfectly fine. You can read this comic without knowing anything about G.I. Joe, and you will still enjoy it. If you do know something about G.I. Joe, you'll enjoy it that much more. But again, there's no prerequisite required with this. You can just go in and you will enjoy it. It's a great edge of your seat espionage thriller. I love this comic. Every time I reread it, it hits great. And every time I reread it, it's like, yeah, this is, because every time I go back to read it, I'm thinking, is it as good as I remember? And then I read it, and I'm like, yeah, it's so amazing. It's such a great comic book. And to cap off the list, we got Jonah Hex No Way Back from Justin Gray, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Tony Duzinga, or however you pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, I'm really bad. Anyways, this is a cool little graphic novel. They did it in this nice hardcover. It's kind of like an old Western journal, it looks like. And Jonah Hex is one of my favorite comic book characters ever. He's just an old West bounty hunter, and this one gets very personal with him. You get some great action here. Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti really understand the character of Jonah Hex, and in this, Jonah Hex, he finds out that his mother is wanted. He's just doing Jonah Hex things. He's going around collecting bounties. He's banging whores. And then some fellas let him know. He's like, hey, there's this wanted poster for this lady that's your mom, right? And he's not too happy about that. So he's got to go figure out why his mom's wanted and what's going on. If you don't know about Jonah Hex, his parents aren't the greatest people. His dad was a drunkard that beat him and his mom constantly. And his mom one day was like, hey, I'm going to go marry the salesman, the door-to-door salesman, and leave you. You have fun with your dad beating you and everything. I'm enough with the beatings, and I'm not going to take you. Because little 8-year-old Jonah Hex is like, Mom, take me with you. And she's like, nah, I can't take the beatings with your dad, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine with your dad. And she leaves. Needless to say, things aren't great for Jonah. His dad then sells him into slavery with the Apaches. Just sells him to be an Apache slave. Parents aren't a great person. So this years later, this is in this timeline, in this continuity, because this is the modern day Jonah Hex books, not like the older books. This is his first time seeing his mom since that moment. So things are a bit emotionally charged. It's very interesting. Some other Jonah Hex villains show up. It's really good. The writing is great. Again, you don't need to know anything about anything else. I was just explaining that because trying to get you interested in the story. Jonah is a very complicated character, and it's really cool. And again, Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, they work magic with Jonah Hex. These guys really understand this character. This character is near and dear to me. He's one of my favorites, and they really get him. I wish DC would make more Jonah Hex comics, get these guys back. They're one of the best parts of the New 52, but No Way Back is a great graphic novel, and I just think everyone should read it. If you enjoy comics, you like it, especially like Westerns, you'll love it. It's so good. But yeah, that's it. That's my list. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I want to hear from you in the comments below. What are some non-superhero comics that you guys really enjoy? And I hope you guys enjoyed this list. And do you enjoy any of these comics? Are these any comics you've read? What'd you think about them? And thank you so much for watching again, and I will see y'all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.